Couldn't find the record button. It's my first day here on Zoom. So, give me a minute. All right, everybody. Good stuff. Good stuff. Okay, so grab your pen, grab your paper, notepads, whatever you're going to take notes on. Let's get started about this. So here's what we're going to talk about today. The difference between a salesperson and a business person. The difference between a salesperson and a business person. We have the Superstar Retreat coming up in a couple weeks. Mike Ferry Superstar Retreat in Las Vegas. I know a number of you are going. Some of you are staying back. All good. But it got me thinking, he's talked about this a number of times, but a few years ago, he was really talking about if you really want to separate yourself as a real estate agent from your competition, you have to become a great business person. You can't just be a real estate agent. You can't just be a salesperson. You have to become a great business person. So I was thinking about that, and I've been having that conversation, I feel like a lot on coaching calls recently of, you just have to have a business conversation with people. And so I took all those kind of thoughts and I decided, well, what is the difference? What really is the difference? We can talk about you have to become a great business person. You need to have a business conversation, but do we actually know what the difference is between a salesperson and a business person? So I took some time here over the last couple of weeks to really write down a number of thoughts, do some research, talk to some other people, because I wanted to give you a fair value of information on the difference between a salesperson and a business person. And I think it's really important because that's what we need to do. That's the next step to elevate our business. So I have a list of thoughts here on the difference between a salesperson and a business person. They're not written in any particular order. It's just how they're written. You take it for however you want to, but let's go ahead and dive in from there. So the first thing that I wrote down here actually is my definition of a business person. Okay, so here's what I would say a business person is. A business person is a salesperson with a clear purpose. A business person is a salesperson with a clear purpose. Now, I say that because a business person is still a salesperson, right? Correct? I mean, you're always in sales, whether you're technically a salesperson or you're a recruiter or you're in business development. There's if you go to any sort of job board, there's 45 different titles that you can find that all essentially lead to you being a salesperson. Well, I am the head of business development. Well, what does that mean? It means I sell a product. Okay, good. I'm glad you're called business development. Right? Whatever the case may be. But a business person has a clear purpose. A salesperson is just selling a product. A business person has goals. A business person knows why they're selling the product, the benefit to them for getting the product sold, which is what we call our goals, our business plan. What are we trying to accomplish? What are we doing this for? If you don't have a clear understanding of that, then you are always just going to be a salesperson. Once you establish a clear understanding of why you're doing this and what you're going to do with the money, now you're on track to essentially become a business person. Does that make sense? Are we all on track so far with what I'm talking about, or have I already lost the room? Oh, I lost one person. We were at 32 people. We're at 31. All right, I'll try to change my notes up a little bit. Okay. See what we can do. Right. So the first thing I wrote down here on becoming a business person is we talk about this all the time, but it'll be said over and over and over again, no matter how nauseating or annoying it may be, is you need to have a strong connection to your goals, not just your today goal, but your 1 month goal, your 1 year goal, your 5 year goal. What about your 10-year goal? I mean, think about this. I heard Neil say this years ago. You should have a 10-year goal. Why? Well, there's only two options. You're either going to be here in 10 years or you're not. You might as well plan on being here 10 years from now and have a goal or a plan in place for what your life should look like in the next 10 years. Not just from a business standpoint, but from a personal standpoint. How do you want your finances to look? What kind of investments are you looking to hopefully be in? Where do you want to live? Do you want to grow your family? Okay. Or for some of you, you're like, I'm trying to decrease the family, but that's a different topic. We'll get there another day. Okay. What's the next 10 years look like for you? Okay. Marticela says her daughter has a 10-year goal. It's great. Yeah. You gotta have a 10-year goal. Everyone needs a 10-year goal, 5-year goal, but that's the ideal of a business person is you need that. A salesperson is just always going to look for the next paycheck. I just need to, what do I need to do today? Eventually that will wear out. Okay. Anyone ever heard of the term burnout? This is more fun if not or yes or something.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Okay, great. As a salesperson, you may not believe me when I tell you this. At some point, you will experience burnout because you're constantly on the hunt today. You need to build for the future. You need to have a plan for the future to avoid something like that. So have a really good, strong connection on your goals, which means that you have to write your goals. You have to have your goals in front of you all the time, and you need to adjust your goals accordingly because sometimes we accomplish our goals, which is fantastic. And a lot of you on here are accomplishing your goals. I talk to a lot of you and you're like, oh, I bought this, I accomplished this. And it's so exciting, which is why I get into coaching. Okay, is because the wins are just, that's the thrilling part for me. But that means that goal is no longer relevant. And if you don't have a connection to the goals, then the work suffers. Or maybe you wrote down a goal and then things change. You know, you wanted to do something big with the family. You wanted to go somewhere and then you decided, I don't really care to go there anymore. Okay, well, the goal changed. So you need to update them accordingly. Or as I always say, my favorite saying, if you don't know what you're going to exchange the money for, you're not going to do the work. Because prospecting sucks, right? So that's the first thing I wrote down there in terms of becoming a business person. The second thing I wrote down here, a salesperson is thinking about the commission. A salesperson is thinking about the commission. A business person is thinking about the client. A salesperson is thinking about the commission. A business person is thinking about the client. So let me ask you this. If you're thinking about the client, could there be a possibility that their best interest is not to buy or sell right now? Is that a possibility?
Agree 100%.
Yeah. So that cost you what?
A commission.
It cost you a commission. It would cost you a commission. Now, some of you, and look, it's okay if this is where you're at, okay, we're all in growing periods, but some of you would go, Jesus Christ, Robert, there's no way I got to get that commission. I'm not gonna try to persuade them not to do something, not to buy or sell. I'm gonna keep pushing to buy or sell. That's a salesperson. A business person thinks about the client. So let me give you an example. You've probably heard Neil say this before. You go to a listing appointment, you know the seller is looking to purchase, is going to sell and purchase another property. And you ask this question, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, before we get started, let me ask you, is there any way you could keep this property and still purchase the next property? Is there any way you could keep this property and still purchase the next property? Now, some of you are thinking, well, why would you even offer that to them? Because what if they can? I lose the listing. That's the salesperson mentality. Now let's shift to a business person mentality. Let me ask you this. Can most people keep their property and still purchase the next property? No. So what are the chances that they're going to go, you know what? That's a great point. I think we can. Second thing, do you think they've thought about that? Yes, they're not dumb. You're not going to say something like that and they're not going to go, holy cow, Robert, we didn't even know that was an option. Thank you so much for bringing that up. That's not going to be the case. But what they are going to know is that you're not tied to the commission. You're looking out for their best interest, because the reality is it probably in their best interest from a long-term perspective to keep that property and buy another one? If they can do that, is that probably in their long-term best interest?
Yes, it is.
Yeah. So now they're looking at you going, wow, first thing he did when he came in is not tell us about how great the market is and all this other stuff. He asked if an option for us to keep this property, which means he's going to lose the listing. Now, you're still going to get the listing because they're going to have to do it, but are you now creating a raving fan? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes. Should I just call Ray and we can just do a one-on-one coaching call, or does anyone else want to participate in this today?
Don't put me on the spot.
Okay.
I'm here. Yeah.
I mean, come on now. Come on now. Okay. You're creating a raving fan, which means you're thinking going back. You're not thinking about right now. You're thinking about 5 years, 10 years from now, because that's what you're looking for in this client, right? You're thinking about their best interest, not necessarily what's in your best interest. Look, sometimes it's really not in the client's best interest to sell their house. Sometimes it's not in their best interest to buy a house. Let me give you an example. Somebody's paying rent and somehow they've got a rent for $1,200. And you're saying, oh, it's a great time to buy. It's a great time to buy. And their mortgage payment with the property taxes, the insurance, the mortgage insurance is going to be $4,000. Now, going from $1,200 to $4,000 a month, could that be a little bit of a shock to some people? And if they're slightly uncomfortable with that, could that be a problem for them in the long run? And yet we're thinking about ourselves going, no, we got to buy, because it's all about me getting that deal, that commission, instead of maybe saying, hey, look, why don't we take a step back? You're paying $1,200 a month right now. Everything's going to be about $4,000 out the door. Are you comfortable with that? Now they might say, yeah, look at, I'm making 15, 20 grand a month, $4,000, no problem. I've been coasting on $1,200 for years. I want to buy a house. Great. But they might say, now that you bring it up, and now I've got a fan, because I'm not pushing my agenda. I'm not pushing my commission. A salesperson thinks about the commission. A business person thinks about the client. Let me ask you this, the last point under this. Do people know when you're only focused on the commission? Yes.
Yes.
None of us are.
Correct.
Let's look at,
100%.
here's the deal. I don't want to shake anyone's lifestyle here, but none of us are really good actors. Okay. None of us are really good actors, right? They're going to pick up on it. They're going to go, man, this is reeking of desperation. And they're never going to use you again, and they're never going to give you a referral. Okay. Always put the client first. Always put what's the best interest of the client. It might cost you a deal at that moment, but it's going to save you 4, 5, 6 deals down the road. Okay. Main difference there. I wrote down here next, a salesperson sells a product. A salesperson sells a product. A business person sells a lifestyle. A salesperson sells a product. A business person sells a lifestyle. So here's what I mean. Salesperson sells a product. The product that we have is real estate. Okay. It's a hot market. You got to sell now. You got to buy now, right? Like you're at a stock exchange in the 80s. Sell, 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 buy, right? That's you're pushing this. You're selling your product. A business person is not worried about sell, 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 buy. A business person is concerned about your motivation, your lifestyle. How is selling this house going to change or benefit your lifestyle? How is buying this house going to change or benefit your lifestyle? And then talking about that. Well, Robert, it's a hot market. You should sell your house right now. That's a salesperson. I mean, sell it. I mean, prices are skyrocketing. I'm selling a product. Business person says, look it, you said you wanted to sell because your whole goal in life was to be close to the beach, right? Right. Well, gosh, right now we can get this house. We can talk about getting you to the beach. When you go to Santa Monica and you move there, what's the first thing you're going to do? First day that you have your house settled in Santa Monica, where are you going to go? Oh, we're going to go down to, this place. Great. I'm selling the lifestyle, not the product. Does that make sense to everybody? This is where I need some feedback.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, great. It's a
Yes,
really
yes.
important factor when you're talking about the difference between a business person and a salesperson. Because when it comes to real estate, it's their largest financial asset. It's a product. But people tend to make emotional decisions. Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes. It's the
Yes.
lifestyle that they want. You want to get someone to move. You want to get someone to make a decision quicker. You want to get someone to work with you. It's about selling the lifestyle. This is why I never understood open houses, for example. People do an open house, and I've seen this for years at open house. They do the flyer that they print is a printout of the MLS of the listing. And they put it on a flyer. Well, take a flyer and let me know if you have any questions. Like, that's so lame because they already know that information. That's why they're there. They looked online and found that, oh, this is 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, 1,750 square feet on an 8,000 square foot lot that was built in 1956. They already know that. And you just gave them, and most people, not people here, do a black and white printout of it. I'm like, this is so dumb. Why don't you give them something like, hey, here, the nearest movie theater is here. The nearest park is here. This is where the schools are. This is the grade of the schools. This is where the shopping is. Here's your walk score. Like the lifestyle of the house. Now, write this down. Lifestyle is not exclusive to the millionaires. Because we think, well, yeah, Robert, when I'm selling a $4 or $5 million house, yeah, it's about the lifestyle. Let me tell you something. First-time home buyer buying a $350,000 condo, it's about lifestyle. Even if it's just bragging rights to tell their friends who are renting, like, I bought a house. It's lifestyle. A salesperson sells a product, a business person sells a lifestyle, but you can only know what to pitch them lifestyle if you ask questions and listen to know what's important to them. All right, the third thing I wrote down here. A salesperson uses vague statements. A business person uses specific statements. A salesperson uses vague statements. A business person uses specific statements. Another way to put it, a salesperson gives their opinion. A business person gives the facts. So salespeople use things like hot market. Well, what the hell does that mean? Like, what's the definition of that? And who's it hot for? Well, it's a hot market. Not if I'm a buyer. Like, no, it's not hot for me. Well, what's the definition of hot? There is no definition. It's a vague statement. We're going to do a ton of marketing. What does that mean? Like, what are you doing to help me? You know, I'm one of the top agents in the neighborhood. What does that mean? That's a salesperson using vague statements to make yourself sound great, to make things sound great. A business person uses specific statements. As a business person, one of the main things you need to do is up your vocabulary. And we're going to talk about that next. But specific statements. Instead of saying hot market, prices are up this percentage, or the price per square foot is up this compared to last year. Days on market, it's down 45%. Home prices are up 22% in your area. These are specific statements. They're not opinions. These are facts. Okay. Well, what's the market like? Oh, it's a great seller's market. Oh, market shifted. What does that mean? Well, the market's changed a little bit. The inventory in the marketplace is up 20% compared to this time last year. And we're seeing a little bit of days on market tick up from 11 to 15. That's a business conversation. Is that slightly different than saying it's a hot market and things are selling fast? That's slightly different?
Yes.
Yes. And as a client, do you think that that's going to get me connected with them more than just saying hot market and things are selling quickly? Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay, great. Specific statements. Get the vague statements out of there. Get the vague statements out of there. Okay. Specifics. And that's not just for analyticals. Well, yeah, analyticals are interested in specifics, facts, things like that. Well, you have to do the same thing with any personality style. Okay. Get rid of the vague statements. Okay. It's not about your opinion. It's about the facts. They don't care about your opinion. I care. I want to hear your opinion. The client doesn't. It's their largest financial asset. They are under stress. They need to know the real stuff that's going on. I wrote down here next, a salesperson is looking for magic words to close a client. A salesperson is looking for the magic words to close a client. A business person simply uses vocabulary that makes sense to the client. A salesperson is looking for the magic words to close a client. A business person simply uses vocabulary that makes sense to the client. So let me ask you this. You've read the scripts, you've seen the scripts. Are there any really magical words on any of these scripts that we use?
No.
Yeah, no. I don't know if there's a word longer than 6 letters. Okay, right? It's I can help you get what you want in the time that you want. Won't that be great? Sign the contract, please. I don't know. Is there any words in there longer than 6 letters in that magical close? See, salespeople are looking for that Oh, I'm looking for that magical close, that power. What are the words that are just going to blow their minds, right? And go, oh my gosh, a salesperson's constantly looking for that. We get people that fight us on the scripts all the time because it's like they're looking for that magical way to pitch it, that magical way to close it. We hear it all the time. And really, this is something that I've said before, and I think is very, very important. You don't have to come up with magic words. You just need to make sense. That's it. That's the close. But a business person knows that. They're not worried about the magical words or anything like that. I got to make sense to the client, because if it makes sense, they will make a decision. Let me ask you a question. If you are confused, will you make a decision right there on the spot?
No.
Yeah.
No.
No. Now, if the outcome is clear to you and makes sense, will you make a decision?
Yes.
Yes. So you're spending all this time trying to come up with magic words, and then you might actually come up with a magic word. Oh, I read this word in the dictionary. And you're going to say it to a client, and the client's going to look at you and go, excuse me? What is that? And they're not going to know what it means. Or you're going to use real estate terminology, and they're not going to get it because they're not in real estate. Imagine if someone was trying to pitch you a product about aerospace engineering, and they were giving you terminology from aerospace engineering. Would you, for most of us, feel really confident in that conversation? Everybody, for most of you, you should say no.
No.
Okay.
Nope.
Some of you don't even know because you're like, I don't even know what the hell an aerospace engineer. Aerospace engineer, Robert, you lost me even at aerospace engineering. I don't even know what the vocabulary of aerospace engineering is because I don't know what that is. It's like astronaut. It's astronaut type stuff. Okay. Fun story. That's actually what I went to college for. College for was aerospace engineering. And then I was 18. I don't know. I just thought it was interesting. And then my counselor said, well, it takes about 6 years to get an aerospace engineer degree. And it's one of the hardest job markets right now. So I'm like, okay, so you're telling me I'm going to be in school for 6 years and probably not have a job when I get out? No, thank you. This was fun. I'll go to basket weaving. Thank you. All I can do there. Right? You just have to make sense. It's not about the magic words. It's just simply making sense. Just focus on the things. Now, here's a great word, okay, or a great phrase that if you just, from a business standpoint, up in your vocabulary, is this: see if it makes financial sense for you. See, here's what we do as salespeople. We say, well, we'll show you the net sheet and show you what you're going to net at closing, and then we'll go from there. It's like, okay, great. We're talking about net at closing, net sheets, things like that. I have to have a business conversation. A business conversation is simply this: we're going to run the numbers and let's see if it makes financial sense for you, and if it does, then we can move forward. That's a slight shift in the conversation from a real estate conversation of we're going to run a net sheet, as opposed to we're going to run the numbers and let's see if it makes financial sense for you. That's more of a business statement. So simply making little adjustments like that out of real estate terminology to financial or business statements makes a large difference in terms of a client, because that's what people understand. And from a standpoint of a consumer, everyone wants it to make financial sense, correct?
Yes, it
So
is.
if all I
Correct.
say is let's run the numbers to see if it makes financial sense, I've got everybody on my side. I've got everybody on my side. So don't look for the magic words. Just look for the things that make sense to the client. That's where you're going to get them to move forward. All right. Very good. Questions on anything we've gone over so far?
No.
All right. All right. Let's go. Let's keep going on. All right. The next point I wrote down here: a salesperson has a job, a business person runs a company. A salesperson has a job, a business person runs a company. This is more of a mindset. As a salesperson, I have a job. My job is to help people buy and sell real estate. That's my job, and I got to go do my job every single day. Okay. And I'm just trying to find people to buy and sell real estate, which is part of the gig. A business person is running a company, meaning that, yes, part of the company is sales, which means I have to find people to buy and sell real estate. But part of a company is systems. Part of a company is staff. Part of a company is running numbers. This is all part of running a company. Salesperson is just, I got to find people buy and sell real estate. I got to find people buy and sell real estate. And you don't take the time to build the systems in place that make your job more efficient. You don't take the time to get the right staff involved so that your transactions flow smoother and you have more time to help people go buy and sell real estate. Now, here's a really important thing to understand. I'm not talking about the staff doesn't have to be, you have to hire an admin, you have to hire a buyer's agent or anything like that. Now, some of you, that is the case, okay? You need staffing. But a staff could just be, do I have the right transaction coordinator in place? Do I have the right lender in place? Do I have the right escrow officer in place? The right title person in place? The right warranty person? Do I have this is my staff. I don't pay them a salary, but I do pay them because they get paid based on my transactions. Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes. So they are paid staff. Since they are paid staff, you need to make sure that they're holding up their end of the bargain. But to be fair, you have to hold up yours. I know a lot of salespeople that are like, oh, I want my title rep to do this. I want my escrow officer to do this. Well, what are you doing for them? Nothing. Oh, okay, good. Well, that's fair. My lender doesn't get back to me in time. When did you call him? 15 minutes ago. Oh, gosh, I can't believe they didn't just drop everything they were doing in the middle of that appointment and answer your phone call and get you what you needed. Because I'm sure you would do the same thing if they called, right? Liar, liar, pants on fire. Okay. But they're paid staff. So make sure you're getting from them what you need, which is simply, if I need something, can you get it for me? Can you help me close the deals? Okay. Can you call the clients and guide them through the process? So I don't have to be the one that says, okay, great, let me guide you through the escrow process. No. The escrow officer can do that. Okay, let me show you about all the different ways to hold title. The title rep can do that. See, that's a business person. A salesperson is just, no, I don't have the staffing. I don't have all this. A business person, you have to start thinking about the systems, the staff in place to make your job more efficient. Okay. That's the way a business runs. It's not one person in the entire funnel. It's one person, and then there's different channels. So you have to have the systems in place. You have to have the staffing in place. You have to have the organizational structure in place to run a business. That's the difference between a salesperson and a business. Now, that's again a long-term thinking, because the more you have the systems in place, the more you're efficient, the more people are helping you, the more productive you can be over time, as opposed to the salesperson mentality. You could do this 15, 20 years, and eventually you're going to get burned out, or the things are going to fall through the cracks. I'm on coaching calls all the time, and sometimes I have to remind some of you of leads that you have, because I take notes. And I'll say, hey, what's going on with this person? And they're like, oh my gosh, you're right. Like, the system's broken down. You're thinking like a salesperson, not a business person, because a business person would not let a lead just disappear. Different mentality. Okay. On that same note, I wrote down here, a salesperson doesn't run a profit and loss statement. A business person tracks everything. A salesperson doesn't run a profit and loss statement. A business person tracks everything. Part of being in business is knowing what makes a profit and what makes a loss. But you can only do that if you track things. Now, here's what's really important. Is time part of profit and loss? Is time spent on an activity part of your profit and loss statement? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes. This is really, really important.
Mm-hmm.
This is really important for some of you to understand. Time is part of your time spent on an activity is part of your profit and loss statement. Here's what I mean. You have a lead that you follow up on constantly and they want to overprice it and you're trying to do all this work from them. Then you finally list it but it's way overpriced and you're going to let it sit there for months and months, and then price reduction of 5,000, 10,000, and this goes on and on and on. And I'm telling you going, get out of this lead. No, Robert, it's going to close. And when it closes, and plus I only got, 2% and I'm giving some money back. So I'm going to make, $10,000 on this deal. So I'm going to make 10 grand on it. I'm not giving it away. And then 6-7 months later, you go, see, it closed. And you're thinking like a salesperson, because a business person goes, holy crap, it took me 6-7 months to close that transaction. I spent how many hours following up with them, showing them, talking about price reductions, doing open houses, prospecting for this deal for 6-7 months, and I only got 10 grand out of it. Realistically, I lost money on this deal. But a salesperson doesn't run a profit and loss statement. They just see, I made 10 grand. Doesn't matter how much time it took. Major error in the difference between a salesperson and a business person. You have to make business decisions, which means you have to run a profit and loss statement. You need to track everything. Some of your marketing is getting returns. Some of your marketing is not getting returns. Do you know which marketing is getting returns and which aren't? Are you still doing marketing that's not getting a return? I know people that have been sending postcards to a certain, geographic area for 10 years. So you're spending $12,000 a year for 10 years. You spend $120,000 in postcards and you've gotten 2 or 3 deals out of it. Okay, well, you're losing money on this transaction. Stop sending the postcards, or send the postcards, but start doing more in that area. Okay, door knock, call, do more stuff. Are you in networking groups that are not producing anything? You have to run a profit and loss statement. You need to know what's going on. What about your CRMs? Some of you are spending $500 or $600 a month on your CRM, which if you are, and we've probably had these conversations, I don't agree with that. I think it's nuts for you to spend $500 or $600 a month on a CRM. I think it's crazy. But some of you do it and you're smart people, so you do what's best for you, but I think it's crazy to spend that much money on a CRM, right? You're spending a few $100s for somebody to manage your website. You're not selling e-commerce. So the website's probably not generating enough revenue to, spend $400 or $500 a month on it, when there's other sources that don't cost you anything. So you need to run a profit and loss statement to figure out what's making you money and do more of that, what's not making you money and do less of that. Okay, same thing with the sources you're prospecting, the way you're prospecting, the neighborhood you're prospecting, things along those lines. You have to make business decisions. I also wrote this down here. From a business perspective, you have to get rid of percentages and make business money decisions. Let me give you an example. Okay. Seller comes to you, it's a $2 million listing, and it's probably 2.1, it's worth 2.1, but they're saying, I'll sell it for 2 million. So it's priced really, really well. They need to get out of here. They're moving out of state. They're going with family. So you have a motivated seller priced incredibly well. And they say, but here's the deal. I'm going to be honest with you. If you sign this deal for 1%, I'll give it to you. Now, let me ask you a question. $2 million listing, and it's worth 2.1. So it's priced really, really well. They're super motivated. 1% commission. Would you take the listing or would you walk away?
I take.
Anybody disagree?
I take.
Yeah, you take it.
Yes.
You take it 100%. But a salesperson gets tied up in percentages. Well, no. I get 6% on all my deals. Okay, great. You just lost 20 grand. Good for you. on a deal that was well priced and super motivated, that's probably going to sell in 7 to 10 days. Because even if the market shifts, if it's that well priced, it's going to sell. See, that's a business decision. Salesperson goes, no, I'm going to fight for 2.5%. Great, you lost 20 grand. But at least you kept your percentages up. Good for you. Got to make business decisions. Okay, different mentalities. Now, again, on the vice versa, you have a $400,000 listing that might be worth 400, might be 395, and in this type of market, and they want 1%. No, you don't take the listing because like this is crazy. I'm not going to make any money on this deal.
Yes.
But you have to make business decisions. All right, 2 more points here. Now these are kind of long, so I'll go over them a couple times. I wrote down here. A salesperson feels the need to control everything. A salesperson feels the need to control everything. A business person knows the value of delegating and not micromanaging. A salesperson feels the need to control everything. A business person knows the value of delegating and not micromanaging. Now, here's an important note. You don't have to write this part down, but just listen to this. The reason most salespeople need to control everything is because they live paycheck to paycheck and therefore micromanage every potential paycheck. And you can reference point that I mentioned earlier where a salesperson's only thinking about the commission, a business person's thinking about the client. As a salesperson, I got to control everything. I'm controlling the title rep. I'm controlling the escrow. So what are you doing? What are you doing? I'll get involved. I'll call the client. I'm putting out fires. That's my favorite salesperson. That's when I know you're a salesperson. Well, Robert, I can't do a coaching call. I'm putting out a fire. Like salesperson. Need to control everything. Need to be involved. Instead of just letting the lender do their job, the title rep do their job, the escrow officer do their job, and you just follow up. I'm putting out fires. Give me a break. All right. I'm not trying to be mean. I'm just trying to be realistic with you. You got to get out of the controlling everything. You have to learn to delegate, let other people do their job, but let them do their job. But this is all part of what I mentioned earlier, running systems and having the right staffing in order. If you don't have the right staff in order, then yeah, then you have to micromanage because you're constantly following up with the title rep. I haven't heard from them in 2 or 3 days. I don't know where my escrow officer is. I don't know where my TC is. Okay. But you need to hire the right people and then delegate and let them do their job so you can go do your job, which is go get more business to pay them because that's how they make money. But a salesperson, I got to micromanage everything. It's crazy. Don't do that. You have to learn the value of delegation and not micromanaging. Now, for some of you, that's really hard, but you have to do it. But Robert, I really need this paycheck. Well, even if you really need this paycheck, number one, is hounding everybody involved going to get your deal closed faster? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes.
Hounding them? If I tell the lender, I need this now. Title rep, I need this now. Escrow, I need this now. I need this now. Are they going to go, oh my gosh, Robert, you're right. Let me drop everything. Are they going to do that? No.
No.
No. So one, hounding everybody is not going to get your deal done faster. And number two, hounding everybody means you're not prospecting for business, which means you're not getting any replacement business either. So even when this deal does close, you've got nothing left. Makes no sense. But a salesperson, that's what they do. I'm going to hound everybody. I need this. I need that. I need it. Stop. Stop. All right. Delegate and learn not to micromanage. Let people do their job. All right, the last point I wrote down is this one. This is, again, it's a longer one, so I'll go through it a couple times. A salesperson pretends they know everything and is more concerned about the perception of being right. A salesperson pretends they know everything and is more concerned about the perception of being right and therefore gives an answer to every question. A salesperson pretends they know everything and is more concerned about the perception of being right and therefore gives an answer to everything. A business person knows they don't know everything and is more concerned about the reality of being right A business person knows they don't know everything and is more concerned about the reality of being right, and therefore is comfortable telling a client they will find out the answer and get back to them. I'm going to read that all again because it's a long one. A salesperson pretends they know everything and is more concerned about the perception of being right, and therefore gives an answer to every question. A business person knows they don't know everything and is more concerned about the reality of being right, and therefore is comfortable telling a client they will find out the answer and get back to them. So let me explain. Do you know every single answer to every single question about the real estate market that somebody could ask you? Yes or no?
No.
No.
No, hell no. There's no way. Now, you know the basics, you know the scripts, you know the objection handlers, you know some of the stuff, but you don't know everything. A salesperson, well, I got to make sure that they feel that I know everything. And so I have to give the perception that I know everything. So I'm just going to come up with an answer. And it's usually, again, a vague statement, which we talked about earlier.
Mhm.
A business person, and here's the thing. Can you tell when somebody doesn't know the answer?
Totally.
Yes. Let me give
Yes.
you a hint. They talk a lot. Well, you know, what's the market like in this area for the homes that are 2 million and above? Oh, well, 2 million and above. I mean, you know, it's very similar probably to the ones that are 800,000. I mean, the days on market might be a little bit longer, but you know, I mean, I guess when you're talking about 2 million, I mean, you know, you're like, dude, you do not know the answer, but you're giving I have to give the perception of being right. So I'm just going to give an answer. A business person is comfortable saying, you know what, that's a really great question. I don't know the specific answer for 2 million and above, but let me go back and research it and I'll get back to you. Is that okay? Now, as a consumer, are you totally bothered by that answer? As a consumer, are you bothered if a salesperson gives you that answer?
No.
Hell no. You would more appreciate it and go, cool, find out, get back to me.
Yes.
Do you see the difference between those two situations?
Yes.
Very, very important. A salesperson I have the perception of being right. So I have to just say something. The business person's like, no, I need the reality of being right. And that may mean that I have to say, you know what, I don't know, but I will research it and I will get back to you. Can I get back to you later today? Let me go back to my office. Let me do some research. I'll get back to you later today. Does that work? Oh, it works fine. Done. They respect that so much more because then you're going to give them the correct answer, which is so much better than whatever babbling the salesperson gave them. Questions on what we went over today? Was this helpful in any way?
Very helpful for a lot.
Okay. All right, good. I got one.
It's more genuine.
All
From a
right.
business
I got one. Yes,
from
Alicia,
a
go ahead.
business person perspective, it's more genuine.
It is more genuine. That's it. Right at the very top. A salesperson is thinking about the commission. A business person is thinking about the client. If nothing else, that's one of the biggest things. All right. And that's how you sustain long-term success. Any salesperson can find a deal. You probably have that in your marketplaces. You look at some of these listings and go, how the hell did that person get that listing? Any salesperson can find a deal, but they burn out over time. Business people are the ones that make it long-term. That's the way it goes. And so you have to start shifting in all these different areas from salesperson to business person. There you go. Thank you, Jack. I appreciate that. Very good. All right, everybody. That's all I got for today.